Angry guy here, and men have finally lost their patience with women. Men have finally lost their patience with women. I've said this before and I'll say it again, nothing lasts forever. Men are at a point where they just can't deal with it anymore. They can't deal with the nonsense, the games, the total BS that we're seeing in Western society. Women have no actual modesty in modern society. The only time that they claim modesty is when they're trying to basically say that, oh, we're trying to protect our modesty, so we need special privileges when we want them. Like, so for example, we should be able to dress however we want to dress, and we're doing it for modesty reasons. But then at the same time, we should be able to dress however we want to dress and not wear anything if we don't want to wear anything. And it's not your place to tell us what to wear. It there's a sign. Like you go to bars or restaurants, and there are signs that say no shoes, no shirt, no service. And a lot of people who are more maybe leaning towards the left political side, they often say that this term is something that is, you know, it's the saying is a bad saying. It's aimed at people that come from a lower socioeconomic class. And it's, and here's and the thing about that is what really bothers me is there are places like I've lived in certain places, certain towns, visited certain towns where you have these types of people who will walk around with no shoes, no shirt. Like you don't want those types of people in your establishment. You don't want these people get picked up by the cops. Like the cops are driving by, they see this guy walking on the street or the side of the road with no shirt on, smoking a cigarette. They're gonna stop him and say, "Hey, what are you doing? You don't look right. You don't look right." You don't look right. You can spot troublemakers. No shoes, no shirt. That's a sign. Some guy walks into your establishment, walks into a bar with no shoes, no shirt. There's a problem there. So civility in society is completely breaking down. Men are basically done with the nonsense, done with the games, and they're not taking it anymore, especially even in places like the gym.
Yeah, what are you doing?
My leg day warm up?
No, don't give me that bullshit. I know you know what you're doing. So actually,
A leg day?
no. You realize you're actually trying to throw us. You're actually trying to throw us.
Are you pointing at me?
Yeah.
Stop.
It's fucking ridiculous. Don't come to my gym and do this shit. Keep this online, bro. Don't fucking do this on my gym. Don't fucking.
Yeah, and they think it's completely funny. Like, guys, this is a breakdown of society. Dude was like, "Don't come to my gym and do this." Like, this is inappropriate. As like, where are the owners of these gyms? This is a male only space. This was typically a men's space. Gyms were once male only spaces, and then women began coming into these gyms. And look at what they're doing. They're using these gyms to film these types of terrible content that they can drag in this, get involved in the simp economy and make money. That girl that went to the gym wearing only body paint, she has an Only Fools Lonely Fans account. And of course, it only made her more famous. So now more simps ran to go and pay for this garbage. Like, guys, I have never, ever paid for Only Fools and Lonely Fans. And I will, and God help me, I will never, ever pay for that crap. And you know what's crazy? You can just Google like the names of a lot of these people and find their lonely fans, their Only Fools accounts, and look at the content that they have. But the Sims are more than happy to pay for this stuff. And guys, the pictures are just terrible. Like I'm just like thinking to myself, like a lot of y'all would never make it in the adult industry, not with this level of trash. Like bro, these pictures are so low quality. Like some of this stuff is just like, who the heck pays for this garbage? Oh, that's right, the Simps. Only a simp would drive this, but that's the simp economy. Like, someone talked about this in one of my other videos. He made a comment, and it's so true that we need a code of conduct. We absolutely, like, in Western society, we badly need a code of conduct. Like, men need a code of conduct. Forget, because because the Sims are running wild. They've allowed society to collapse. We need a code of conduct. Now, holding women to that standard, that's something that society has to do. That's some, but before anything can go, forget, it's hard to do because of the way Western society is. But we may not be able to hold women to a code of conduct because women don't take accountability for anything, and the Sims will always bail them out. But we can hold men to a code of conduct. We can hold other men to a code of conduct, because if you try to hold a woman to a code of conduct, they'll claim that they're victims. But you can hold men to a code of conduct, and by holding men to a certain code of conduct, that in turn will eventually lead to women being held accountable for their actions. Because the major problem right now is the Sims. It's 100% the Sims. The Sims are the reason why our society is a mess. Like guys, this whole thing where you have people going to porches and taking packages off porches that don't belong to them. Like, it's so bad right now that when the cops hear like a porch pirate is has done something, the cops will literally just like are rushing out and snatching these people up, because such a terrible crime right now. Like, it's so bad. Laws may end up being passed very soon to to prosecute these people worse. Like, because it's just like petty theft. Like, oh, they just stole a $3 dog toy. Like, guys, these people are terrible. But that's like what Western society has come down to. In a society where we have a code of conduct and men hold each other accountable, guys, I'm telling you right now, if it was not for women in Western society and Sims specifically, if it wasn't because our society has been so feminized that we're no longer allowed to express our masculinity, this type of thing wouldn't be happening. For example, people snatching a package off a porch. Oh my goodness, men wouldn't tolerate this garbage. Men would not tolerate this garbage. Like, there was a time when we could leave our doors open. Not in my generation. Well, it's hard. Okay, so for example, yes, it did. There was a time in my generation where you could do it depending on where you live. There used to be a show called Everwood, and some of you may have remembered Everwood. And there were plays, and it was his name was like Gregory Brown. I loved Everwood, and unfortunately, the actor, the main, he passed away recently. I think it was a motorcycle accident. Oh, so sad. And I would have loved for Everwood to come back. However, anyway, jumping off that for a moment, there were places back, going back 20 years, where you could still leave your door open because it was safe. But this was before social media, and social media it has made everyone crazy, and it's had a horrible effect on young women, on women in general. But there was a time where it wasn't just like in these small isolated towns. Like, throughout the United States, outside of, let's say, the city, you could leave your door open and you would never have to worry about anything happening. The worst case scenario, you might come home and you'll see like the neighbor's kid in your house, and you'll say, Timothy, what are you doing here? My parents aren't home and I was hungry. Okay, I'll make you a sandwich. Okay, where's your dad? I haven't seen him in a while. I mean, I'm just saying, like, it was a whole different time. And the crazy thing is, like, back in those days too, people were strapped also. Like, people were strapped. They had their pieces back then, but they didn't have to use them like that. You weren't afraid of your neighbors. You weren't afraid in your community. Like, all of this has happened. The deterioration of our society and this lawless behavior. It's all because of the way that modern women vote. I mean, you have so many bandits running wild, and then the men that women love are these people, like the men who are destroying our society. These people that are running wild, the F boys, the thugs, the Tyrones, Ray Rays, Pookies, Ponchos. Little Poncho slips in and then slips out of the country. These are the people that these women love. And we in a society where you have masculinity, and you have a code of conduct. There are unspoken rules. You have a code of conduct, guys. Like, it's crazy. Like, this whole thing where, like, people are crying about interactions with the cops. You go to other countries, you don't ever hear about cops, like, just using their sidearm, like ever, on a civilian. Like, it just does not happen, because they're able to apprehend. The difference is that in America, everyone's on edge. Everyone is now on edge. Like, this stuff never used to happen. None of this stuff ever used to happen. Like today, everyone is on edge. Police officers are on edge. Everyone is on edge because of the way society is, and a lot of it's social media. It constantly keeps you on edge. As the mainstream media began doing this, and then social media has only made it worse. And of course, the mainstream media has now learned how to use social media. So even though like television channels are just almost gone at this point, which is amazing. It's like the network still exists, but you no longer access the network through like through your idiot box. Like, oh, I'm going to scroll to channel 7. I'm going to scroll to the. No, it's more so now where you access the network's content through your Roku device or your streaming app or on YouTube. But they figured out how to harvest social media also to drive more nonsense and division. But guys, in a normal society, this would not never be happening. But as you can see, men have finally lost their patience with women, and truly, it's only going to continue going more so in this direction. Guys, if you're enjoying the content, help get the channel to 100,000 subscribers in our journey to 2 million by subscribing if you already haven't, liking the video, and turning on notifications to never miss another video ever again. Men have finally lost their patience with women. What do you guys think about this? I want to hear your thoughts. So let's talk about it in the comments. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MWA Men walking away. And cheers.